you've been flagging some of these content issues for a couple of years, and I'm curious, what was your takeaway from these hearings in which Sheryl Sandberg testified and started answering for some of the things you've been raising over the last couple of years?
I mean, one, I think, all of this is such fallout from issues that the company, we were hoping the company would get ahead of. And it seems that we're just constantly, it's this defensive posturing, and with and just chasing the issues. I think it's interesting, being called to testify before Congress is, it's not a proactive approach to change. It's a bit of a tail between your legs exercise, right? You're being called onto the carpet. I was happy to see Jack Dorsey there from Twitter, disappointed that Larry Page wasn't there. And I thought it was interesting that Sandberg was there instead of Zuckerberg, just that it kind of got kicked down from the CEO level, which makes me question, if they're really showing it as central of an issue as it was, after Cambridge Analytica.
What do you make of Sandberg's level of sincerity? I mean, she said for a lot of the things that these lawmakers were asking about, the rules are already in place. She was very contrite. Do you think she's being sincere?
I think she's being sincere. I think that they're trying. Since we started flagging these issues, a lot has happened. A lot of investment has been made. I was concerned to hear her discuss, how false and misleading information is being treated on the platform. She was describing the fact that, if something is false information, they move it down the feed, and then they present what she called alternative facts, that Facebook presents alternative facts. And I thought it was so curious that that wasn't caught, because, there are facts and there are opinions. There are not alternative facts. And, I hope we're not bending to the playbook of Kellyanne Conway, of Rudy Giuliani, in even entertaining that notion. So I was disappointed to hear that from her testimony.
As soon as she said those two words, alternative facts, my antenna went up. Do you think
yes.
These issues...
I'm glad yours did.
It did. Are these issues, is this a public image problem or is this a business problem? Because analysts and investors have often told us these are two separate issues, when in fact, this public image problem can certainly affect the business, in my view.
Absolutely. I mean, they're not separate. Businesses do not exist in a bubble. A lot of the negative things that have happened over the platform, we might consider externalities if we were thinking about, a big oil company polluting the oceans and the air. But these externalities, the negative things, everything from fake news, election interference, the hate speech, the violence, harassment over the platforms, these are real business issues. And when Cambridge Analytica, when the scandal really hit and the public was aware about how their data was compromised, that has had reputational impacts. And the fallout from that, there was a recent Pew study that showed that 44% of young Americans have deleted Facebook. That a quarter, 1 in 4 Americans in general have deleted it, and that 75% have either deleted it, have changed their privacy settings, or they've gone on a Facebook hiatus and gone off of the platform and taken a break. That is where we get concerned because it's on the revenue side, right? Their brand matters, and whether their users trust the brand matters. And even Sandberg in her testimony said, trust is the cornerstone of our business. Clearly, that has been eroded given the numbers that we saw come out of Pew. So you can't separate the impact. And, when we look at what's happening right now, operating margins are going down. We think those are necessary investments, right? Because they have to fix Facebook, and they need to make investments to do so. But on the revenue side, that's where, you can go from king one day to no longer. So that's where we're concerned.
So you're still shareholders in Facebook. Why?
Well, we'd like to see the company turn around. We think that there's value there. They have an almost monopolistic position in this space. We think that that's under threat, and because it is a risk. I mean, we're underweighted versus the benchmark. We're underweight versus the S&P because of that. So while we're still participating in Facebook, we want to be active shareholders. We want to engage our clients' capital to get the company to change. Not only on this issue, which is a content governance issue, we've also engaged the company on gender pay equity for the last 3 years. We think that there is opportunity for the company to turn it around. But I do think it's going to take more than, being called to the carpet. They need to start engaging their investors in a more meaningful way, having conversations. And I think because, it's a bit of an ivory tower at Facebook, much like it is at Google, where, the insiders control over 50% of the vote at the annual meeting. So what happens, tends to be dominated by insiders, and there's little interest in really engaging in a meaningful way with investors.